Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again. Now, I want to speak to you today on why I want to be the next senator from the state of Minnesota. But let me set this up for you. Yesterday, my car problems were so terrible, especially the tires, till I thought I'd check it out and see what the problem was. Now, the problem was my outer tire rod. I mean, it was really messed up. I was surprised that it didn't fall apart and break. So I went and got the part, and I came back to work on it. Now, understand, I came back to work on it. And why did I do that? Well, it needed fixing, and I did not have money to pay people to do it. Now, if I had money, I'd do like people with money. They'd go and take it to the shop, drop it off, go back and get it, or somebody pick it up and bring it back to me. But that didn't happen. So I worked on that thing yesterday from the middle of the day till about 10 o'clock last night. Still didn't even have it together. I got up this morning about 9 o'clock, and I guess it's about 3 o'clock now. And I've been working ever since. The tie rod is frozen on the rod, and I haven't been able to do a thing. I've tried fire, I've tried everything, and I need that car. So what I'm actually saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, these are the kind of things that poor people have to go through. Now, all poor people know this, and those of you who got money don't care. This is why I want to be the next senator from the state of Minnesota. See, I got a boss, and my boss has taught me well. I didn't go to school just for 4 years. I've gone to school for 40-some years, and I'm ready to tell you what my boss has given me to tell you. I want to be the senator from the state of Minnesota because I want every citizen in the state of Minnesota, every citizen, to have their dreams come true. Basically, those essentials I will mention from the beginning, like food and clothing and shelter, and for them to be progressive education and health care, from the womb to the tomb. And in order for them to be eligible for this, all of those who are healthy, all of them who can work, must have a job, must have a career of their own choosing. This is why I want to be the next senator from the state of Minnesota. Now, many of you say, well, how are you going to accomplish something like that? Well, what I'm going to actually do, ladies and gentlemen, is not just limit my conversation to the state of Minnesota, but to the nation and to the world, if the world is listening. You see, I'm going to expose the Ponzi scheme that has been perpetrated on the people of this country, in fact, the people of the world since the beginning of time. A Ponzi scheme, the greatest Ponzi scheme the world has ever known. Yes, this is what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, because my master, my father, my boss wants me to do that. You see, in order to rule the world, you got to divide the world. And how do you divide the world? By deception. And this isn't anything new. This started in the beginning. First, you have to deceive the family. That means you got the mother and the father going their separate ways, and you know nothing can be accomplished that way. Then you must continue and divide the house. Now, when you divide the house, you got the parents against the children. And you know where that's going, especially when you start, all of you who got children know what that's like. I don't care how young your children are, from a toddler up, they always know what's best. They know what they want to do, and this is what they are going to pursue. The next thing you got to do after you've deceived the family, you got to mess with their faith. You got to deceive them in regards to their religion. This is why we have Catholicism and Protestant. Split them up, and you know where that has led us right here today. But you don't just stop there. Your deception has to continue. And where does it go from there? It goes to the nation. You got to deceive the nation. And here the evidence here in America is we got Republicans and we got Democrats. You know what that has done. I know you know what that has done. But that is not enough. The deception keeps on going. And where does this deception go? It has to do with the people. It means dividing the people. And how do you have the evidence of the people that are divided? You got the haves and you got the have-nots. Now, what kind of deception that would allow all of these different things to happen? Well, it starts with trying to say that some people are more important, some people are more deserving than others. It didn't just start now. It began in the beginning of time, when you had kings and queens and pharaohs and Caesars and popes, all claiming to be descendants from the heavenly hosts. They were the ones who supposed to control and manipulate everything. These, my friend. And then it just broke on down to similar situations where you might have white supremacy, or you might say that Israelis are God's chosen people, or you might say America is the greatest nation on the face of the earth. This is a continuation of the divisive process. Now, what comes out of that? Out of that, you got wealth and you got poverty. And from that, you got crime and violence. You got terrorism. You got war and killing and lying and cheating. All of that comes as a product of what I have just described to you, the thing of deception. But now that I've given you information about the Ponzi scheme that's been perpetrated on America, my running for office is to inform you, to remind you of the truth. And here, my friends, is the truth. Out of all of that, I want to remind you that this earth is made by God. Not any of those I just mentioned. Had nothing to do with this earth. And this earth is magnificent, ladies and gentlemen. It's like the womb of a woman. Everything that humankind could need ever, from the beginning to now and the future, is already here, given on this earth as a gift. Whether it's above the earth, seen and unseen, such as the waters above the earth, the electricity, the audios, the videos, these things we cannot see, but they're there. Evidence is all around us every day. The things that are on the earth, the land, the waters, the vegetables, the fruits, the trees, the animals, all of these things, man had nothing to do with that. It is a gift. A gift. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when we have that, we look about in the earth. We got minerals of all kinds. We got oil, we got gas, we got coal, we got, precious stones, what you call diamonds and other stuff. All of that has been given to the earth. Not a man on the face of the earth had anything to do with any of that. Now, and I say that to you because the earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, and they that dwell therein. And that's us. Now, some of you might believe we just popped up. Well, we didn't any more pop up than the earth popped up. We were put here by design. And we are all of the same stuff, evidenced by we all need the same things for survival: food, clothing, shelter, and if we want to be progressive again, education and healthcare. Now, this master, my boss, who put us here in this situation, made sure that we would be able to meet all of the requirements necessary for our dreams to come true, for heaven to be on earth. He gave each of us a gift. We didn't have all the gifts. He gave each of us a gift. A gift that when we exercise it, it gives us our greatest joy. And that gift is unique because it plays a role in the process of creating all of the things that exist on the earth today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, because mankind, all of us are responsible for all the stuff that has been made, that makes us partners in it. That makes us owners. And what you own, you don't have to buy. You don't need banks, you don't need money, you don't need loans, you don't need credit, you don't need taxes, you don't need fees, you don't need any of that. The only thing you need to operate that smoothly is to do unto others as you would have others to do unto you. That is the basic principle of life. That is the truth. This is the way to peace and prosperity and happiness in our lives. This is the way for your dreams to come true. Now, we have been denied all of this because we were deceived. My campaign is about telling you the truth. And this is the truth that would produce exactly what I said. Now, whether this happens depends upon you. Are you going to trust man, who in America has finally given you Donald Trump? Or are you going to trust God, who will require that you, my friends, not I, not just any man, but every last one of us, play a part in this by us receiving that spirit of compassion for one another. Oh, my brothers, I know you didn't think you were going to hear a message like this, but this is absolutely wonderful. There are no more big I's and little U's. Everybody are what you might say little G's, little gods, because the Spirit of the Lord is in you, and we, as we respond to others, we respond as gods to one another. Now, I'm saying to you, you can write my name in if you want to. I'm not a Republican or Democrat because they don't play the games of the stuff I just shared with you. But God does. And so I'm asking you, if you agree with God, write Eddie Marcus on the ballot for a United States Senator from the state of Minnesota. And I say, write it because it's a confirmation that you've heard this message. It is a confirmation that you are in agreement with this message. And what am I going to do when I go to Washington? I'm going to take this message to the Congress. I know they're not ready for it, like you weren't ready for it. But you've heard it now, and it sounds so sweet to you, you know you can't turn your back on it. And there are going to be at least 50% of the congressmen that's going to feel the same way. But I'm also going to use that time to speak to their constituency, to speak to America, so that America can hear the truth about that Ponzi scheme that has been worked on them, and they can receive the truth that will liberate them. And they, my friends, have the choice of accepting God, real God. I'm not talking about going to church. I'm not talking about paying tithes and offerings. I'm talking about living the life of one that's been born again, one whose mind has been changed, one who has says, yes, this is the way of life. I don't want to go that other way any further. That's what I'm talking about. And when we can do this in 2020, I want all of the people of the United States of America who's willing for a wonderful life, a great, fantastic life, who wants to give God the glory and want to play their part in it, to write my name in on that ballot to be the President of the United States. And we, my friends, by the Spirit of love, by the Spirit of our Almighty God, by our loving one another, will change America into a form of paradise. And when we can do this, we will shine like one of the brightest lights, like the sun. We'll just shine just like the sun. Nobody tries to fight the sun, and nobody will try to fight us. All they want to do is get as much from us as they can. And what we have created amongst ourselves, we share with the whole dead blasted nation, with the whole blasted world. And this fighting in Armageddon and World War III can go somewhere and have a seat, because we have won the victory. Now you think about that, ladies and gentlemen. This is the choice that my Father, my boss, our God, has put before you today. What are you going to do with it? This is Eddie Marcus. Once again, I want to thank you so very much for giving me this your time. Bye-bye.